All right, welcome. Today, we're getting our hands dirty and diving deep into the heart of modern industry, the rotary screw air compressor. If you're an operator, a technician, the person on the floor making sure things actually run, well, this masterclass is for you. We're going to cover everything you need to know to keep these workhorses running like a dream.
Let's start with a really big idea right off the bat. The compressed air that you help create every single day, it's not just a nice-to-have. It's considered the fourth utility. Yeah, right up there with electricity, water, and fuel. It's the invisible force that makes so much of our modern world possible.
So, what is this machine actually making? It's creating something called pneumatic energy. And that's just a fancy way of saying it takes electrical energy from the wall and transforms it into the raw physical power of pressurized air. This is the energy that drives everything from the tools on an assembly line to the systems that package our food.
So, here's our game plan for today. We're going to go on a little journey. First, we'll talk about why this machine is the unsung powerhouse of industry. Then we'll pop the hood and see how it actually makes air. From there, we'll get into the practical, daily operational dance. We'll cover how to keep your compressor healthy for the long haul. And finally, we'll talk about how you can go from being just an operator to a true optimizer.
First up, let's really understand just how critical this piece of equipment is. Why does this machine matter so much?
You know, the reach of the air you produce is absolutely massive. It's in the cars we drive, the clothes we wear, the food we eat, the medicines that keep us healthy. From massive automotive plants to the workshop tools in a local garage, compressed air is the unseen hero. And you're the one who makes it all happen.
Okay, so we get it, it's important, but how does this thing actually work? Let's deconstruct the machine and see what's going on inside.
This, right here, is where all the magic happens. At the very heart of the machine, you've got two big helical rotors. Now picture a heavy-duty zipper closing really fast. As those rotors mesh together, they trap these little pockets of air and squeeze them into a smaller and smaller space. It's this continuous squeezing motion that creates the high-pressure air we need.
So, let's follow a breath of air as it goes through the system. It all starts at the intake, where a filter cleans out all the dust and dirt. From there, it gets pulled into the air end and squeezed by those rotors we just talked about. Next, it goes through a separator to pull out all the oil that's used for cooling and lubrication. And finally, the air is cooled down before it's sent out to the plant. It's a simple four-step dance: in, squeeze, clean, and cool.
Let's meet the key players in this process. The air end, that's the muscle. It's where all the hard work of compression happens. The oil separator. Think of it as the bouncer at the club door, making sure only clean air gets through. The cooler is like the machine's radiator, keeping everything from getting too hot. And the controller? That's the brain of the whole operation, monitoring everything and making sure it all runs smoothly.
Okay, enough theory, let's move from the what to the how. It's time to put it all into practice. We're moving on to the daily operational dance, the key steps every operator needs to have down cold. A safe and reliable day starts before you even think about hitting that green button. First thing you do is a visual check. Walk around the machine. Are the oil levels good? See any drips or leaks? Are the coolers free of dust? Only then do you power it on and let the controller run its self-test. After you press start, your job isn't over. You watch, you listen as it idles and then loads up. And from then on, you're monitoring the vitals, pressure, temperature, and any sounds that are out of the ordinary.
And hey, shutting down correctly is just as important. You hit stop and that lets the compressor unload all the pressure. Now this next step is absolutely crucial. Let the machine idle for a minute or two. Think of it like a cool-down lap for a runner. It prevents thermal shock and makes the parts last way longer. After it cools, then you can power it all the way down and drain any water that's collected.
Now we're getting into the long game. This is all about proactive care. How we keep this machine healthy through smart maintenance and quick troubleshooting when things go wrong.
Think of this slide as your first aid guide. If the machine's overheating, don't panic. 9 times out of 10, it's either a low oil level or a dirty cooler. Simple fix, top up the oil or clean the cooler. Seeing the pressure drop across the plant? You've probably got an air leak somewhere or a filter is clogged up. Your job is to find that leak or swap the filter. And if you notice oil getting into the airline, that's a classic sign the separator element is toast and needs to be replaced. But look, being a great operator isn't just about fixing things when they break. The real question is, how do you stop these problems from ever happening in the first place?
The answer is routine. This schedule is the heartbeat of a truly reliable machine. Every single day, you check the oil and drain the water. Every week, you clean the filters and coolers. Then you've got your service intervals based on running hours for the bigger jobs, like checking belts or changing out filters, oil, and the separator. This isn't just a list of chores, it's your strategy for avoiding downtime.
And while you're taking care of the machine, remember that it's also designed to take care of you. These are its built-in safety shields, the pressure relief valve, the high-temp sensor, the motor overload, and of course, the big red emergency stop button. These are your non-negotiable guardians, always there to protect both you and the equipment.
Okay, so you've mastered the daily operations, and you know how to keep the machine healthy. Now, it's time to take it to the next level. In this last section, we're going to talk about how you can go from being a great operator to a true optimizer by mastering efficiency.
This is why efficiency matters so much. Just look at this chart. When you think about the total cost of a compressor over its entire life, the price you paid for it and the cost of maintenance are just small slivers. The real giant, the big kahuna, is energy. A whopping 70% of the cost is just the electricity it eats up. That's where you can make the biggest impact.
And to put that into perspective, check this out. A single tiny 1 millimeter leak in your airlines, a hole so small you can barely hear it, can waste 1.5 kilowatts of power non-stop. That's like leaving a powerful appliance running 24/7 for absolutely nothing. It is pure waste.
So, how do you fight that waste? Here are your pro tips. Become a leak detective. Hunt down and fix every single leak. Keep the compressor room cool because a hotter room makes the machine work a lot harder. If your factory's air demand bounces up and down, a variable speed drive, or VSD, is a total game changer. It matches motor speed to demand, so you're not wasting power. You can even use a heat recovery kit to turn all that waste heat into useful hot water for the plant.
So what's the bottom line here? Your role as an operator is so much more than just pushing buttons. It's about stewardship. You are the caretaker of a powerful, important, and expensive industrial asset. And your skill directly impacts your company's efficiency, its reliability, and yeah, its bottom line.
So, we'll leave you with this final thought. You've seen the mechanics, you've seen the procedures, you've seen the strategy. The question now is for you. How are you going to use this knowledge to become an even more effective, more efficient, and more valuable operator when you walk in the door tomorrow?